Today I decided to make homemade pizza for my family and we were out of pizza sauce. So I decided to make some homemade. I have my pizza sauce mix from Mrs. Wages. This is my first time using Mrs. Wages. And I have my canning lids, of course, which are 4 jars. I have pint jars and I have the Nina San Marzano Italian peeled tomatoes that I got from Costco, which is actually a steal. They were only about $6.50 a can. And I have my immersion blender. I'm showing this just as a PSA. Wash your lids on your store-bought canned goods. This is a Mrs. Wages pizza packet. I'm just kind of showing you the directions here. I already pre-measured out the 5 tablespoons of sugar, and it says that you can use diced tomatoes or fresh. I'm a wife and a mother of 5, so if I can take a shortcut and use these canned tomatoes, I'll take it. And you only need 1 pouch of sauce. So I have about 6.5 pounds of sauce, and the sauce is actually beautiful. When I poured it out of the can, I have the whole peeled tomatoes in there, and I'm going to take my immersion blender and break those up. And I'm going to break them up really, really good. The sauce smells wonderful. It already has the basil in it. It already has just a little bit of salt, not too much. The Mrs. Wages packet is going to have all the spices and seasonings that you need. I took a minute to really break these up really good with the immersion blender. It honestly didn't take any time, and I went through just to make sure I didn't have any chunks left in there. I went through it really good because I don't want any tomato chunks left. After I went through and made sure there were no chunks left, I added my sugar, which was at 5 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and I added my Mrs. Wages seasoning packet, and it smells really good. It actually smells like a pizzeria. To me, that's just my personal opinion. I went through and I mixed up that Mrs. Wages seasoning really good. Because it's a powder, I did go through just to make sure that there were not any chunks left. It wasn't a granulated seasoning, which is easier to incorporate than an actual seasoning powder packet. And then once you do that, you're supposed to let it simmer for 25 minutes. And so I went ahead and I let it simmer for 25 minutes. And I came back periodically to stir it up to make sure my sauce was not burning. I did turn my heat down a little more because if anybody knows pasta sauce, it can start popping like crazy, and I did not want to get popped by any pasta sauce today. So I took the time to mix everything up, and I did dip my spoon. No, I didn't double dip. I did dip my spoon in taste the sauce, and it tasted amazing. Like, it's really good. I'll use the second packet that I had because I only used 1. And this is the finished product of my sauce after it had simmered for that 25 minutes. It wasn't too runny, it wasn't too thick, and just give you a little glamour shot of what that sauce looked like after it had simmered for the time that it needed. Now I'm loading up my jars. I got 7 pints out of this, and I set 1 to the side. I wiped my rims down with distilled vinegar with my 4 jars towel, of course. And these are all my pints that I got. I put my rings on fingertip tight. And the Oddman outlet is not going in a canner. I am going to use that for our 2 sheet pizzas tonight. 1 pint of it will make 2 pizzas. And this is my canner. I decided to use my stock pot canner this time instead of the granite one because it only fits about 6 jars. I loaded everything up, and I have like a little tiny boil going down in there. I did want to show that the difference between the beginning of a boil, and there's a big difference with the rolling boil. Sorry for all the steam, but I did want to show that rolling boil getting started there. And I timed it for 40 minutes. And once they water bath for 40 minutes, this is my finished product. Again, I'm happy with my finished product. All of my lids did seal. Tomorrow, after they have set for about 12 hours, I'm going to wash my jars. Happy canning.